Hello everybody and welcome. I say everybody because I don't know how many people will see this video, but special shout out to Fate for whom I made this video. Okay, let's talk about the runes and the way the game changed in perspective for Renekton. Okay, this is a guide specifically for Renekton. Hit me up if any other questions arise. Okay, let's go over the first rune. Lethal Tempo got removed, press the attack got changed. This change actually is significant, okay, because hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive basic attacks deals bonus adaptive damage. So this part can be activated over and over again, but the damage amplifier stays. Okay, this is 8% until you leave the combat, so you can activate it, for example, on a tank in the front line, and then carry over the 8% increased damage to a different target, which was not able before. You had to press the attack again, just like Wayne Silverbolt's work in a way. The past time it was more like a short burst rune, for some short trades, like let's say Fiora goes in with a Q auto attack, E reset, procs press the attack and leaves combat after. As right now you would be able to increase all of your on-hit damages and therefore also your lifesteal and everything you proc for a way longer time now, which is obviously a buff. Footwork is irrelevant for us, and Conqueror is still a superior choice for tanky matchups and for tanky teamfights. Because the thing is, with press the attack, you could weaken a target, right? Your teammates would also have increased damage before. Right now, it's only Renekton that procs it, and only Renekton will do increased damage. So that got changed. Before, some champions like Renekton, Pantheon, I don't know, all the press the attack users, maybe something like Tristana, they would use it on a frontline target and weaken it for the rest of the team. So that was especially strong with someone like Pantheon, as he had 30% armor penetration as a passive in his ultimate. And with Black Cleaver, you would reduce a target's armor even further and make them vulnerable to your teammates in those two ways, right? Via press the attack and via Black Cleaver. So it mustn't be Pantheon necessarily that profits most out of it. So right now it is a very selfish rune, but it is a very strong rune in that regard. Whereas Conqueror is overall the more consistent rune. Press the attack will still be the better and stronger laning phase rune for dominating the lane, whereas Conqueror is just better into the later stages of the game and has overall better consistency. Let's go over Absorb Life. It's interesting because with Renekton you could trade into very big minion waves, since you would hit a lot of minions with your Q, maybe with your Tiamat as well. And if you one-shot the wave that way, you would also get, in the early game, something like 12 HP back. That isn't very much. It goes up to 17 HP, 119 per wave that you would one-shot in the later stages of the game. It's not too significant. Triumph is still viable, but I need more testing for Absorb Life. I did already test it, it didn't feel that great. I don't know, it seems kind of weak to me, but it needs to be weak because this mechanic is extremely toxic. It's extremely dumb in my opinion. This Overheal was a better rune. It was also weak, but it was not that unfair, right? Bloodline is very weak actually. I don't know, 5% lifesteal isn't that much. So I would... it's very hard to take this rune because it's just so weak. 85 max health, that's not very much, right? And 5% lifesteal isn't either. I would dismiss this rune. Legend Haste is actually worth it because it's 15 ability haste. So as of right now, I would say Alacrity and Ability Haste is the best one could go. I still like Alacrity more because it makes last hitting under the turret more easy. Lets you cancel some abilities way more smooth. And then we come to the last row. Those are the biggest changes. So coup de grace, right? That means you first have to kill 60% of your enemy. Then, when they are sitting at 40 health or below, this rune activates. Okay. So you have a range of 40% health that in which you deal 8% more damage. It's basically the same as down. Now, let's just go one after another. So if the enemy has 40 health or lower, you deal 8%. But here, if the enemy is 60 health or more, you deal 8%. So this is front-loaded damage. This is back-loaded damage. That's the difference. And here we are with damage scaling on your own health, which is nowadays extremely bad. As I already mentioned, health items work against bruisers nowadays. So a rune that profits off of you being low health with all those execute and percent mechanics, there's just one way to stay alive, and that is via resistances and healings. So I think that the changed cut down rune actually makes more sense, because you do not need to be low life in order for this rune to work. You can go for very strong level 3 trades, because you would just trade your enemy once very heavy and get them with the second combo via tower diving or something like that. So this is actually a very good rune to get people into into a weak stadium, which is pretty good in conjunction with Profane Hydra, because Profane Hydra deals extra damage with missing health, which is what I mean. There's a lot of missing health damage in League of Legends, and you don't want to be low life because you just get executed way more easy. And one other champion that gets pretty annoying actually for Renekton, where you do not want to have cut down, is actually Set. The Set with double T at the end. Because if this guy gets low life, he generates a lot of health, and right there cut down deactivates, which would make you lose damage, and he would just out heal everything while staying low life. It's very hard to kill him. In that scenario, if you're playing versus Set, you actually do want to have coup de grace or last stand, but most champions you should be better off with cut down, I think. This is just some assumption. These runes, they need more testing, but this is the build I actually go for these days. Sudden impact got changed. Instead of gaining lethality, you will deal extra bonus true damage, which I really dislike. I do dislike adding a lot of true damage to the game. Yeah, it is what it is. True damage works versus squishy targets a lot. It doesn't work versus tanks. This is actually a nerf for Renekton, because he was always fine dealing with squishy targets, and lethality was very efficient with that. But lethality would also help Renekton with Black Cleaver and double E to reduce their armor even more, so lethality would become worth more. But on the other side, it's up to 80 true damage based on level. So I don't know if you would deal 80 damage with that lethality you had, if it came to the same number. But I do think it's weaker. Has a 4-second cooldown. The other changes is that I would pair Sudden Impact with Eyeball Collection, because Treasure Hunter, Relentless Hunter, Ultimate Hunter, they are fine, they are viable. They aren't scaling that well. It is very hard for a top laner to collect all 5 trophies, and that is why it kicks into the game very late, and this is something you do not want. where you could stack eyeball collection in several ways. You could proxy farm, you could kill your enemy top laner over and over, and you could just invade junglers. So it makes it easier, in my opinion, than collecting the 5 kills sometimes from Treasure Hunter, Relentless Hunter, and so on. The other thing is that you could pair a lot of cooldown reduction in your runes nowadays, like so, which is quite interesting. In that case, I would say Nimbus, Cloak, and Transcendence is very utility focused. So if you would want to go for Ghost and Flash and have a lot of cooldown, very one shot or ability oriented, this could be a rune page. I don't know how worth this rune right here is, because missing on 9 adaptive force in the early game actually is a big deal, since the armor runes got removed. Now the other thing is, since Bloodthirster got changed, Shield Bash could be very interesting. It's a very interesting combination between Shield Bash, maybe something like Revitalize, because it increases shield and heal power. About heal power more later on. This could be very interesting. You could also go for unflinching with Shield Bash, because it is very easy to explode with the item build I will present to you later. And as usual, everything else stays the same. This got changed, however. Impairing the movement of an enemy champions restores health to you and your lowest ally. Maybe there is a way to use this with Stridebreaker, actually. I do not promise anything, but maybe there is a use case if anybody wants to play Stridebreaker Renekton, as Cyrilda's Grudge is dead anyway. So Cyrilda's Grudge users maybe could benefit from this. But since I do not see any numbers in the client right here, shout out to Riot for never adding any numbers. I hate it. I actually hate it. Okay, it says impairing movement of an enemy restores health. Yeah, thank you, Riot. How much health? And how much does my teammate get? Does the teammate receive the same amount as I do? Because a lot of times those effects are split up in 2 parts, where I get the full value and my teammate only gets 70% or something like 50% or whatever. What if my teammate is a ranged user? What if my teammate is ranged? Does he get 70% value just because it says it in the line down there? If anybody knows anything about that, just leave a comment down below. Thank you for that. And then we come to this rune page right here. Magical footwear and Hextech, they didn't change, but we do have cashback. This is a very interesting rune, but the thing is, you're missing out on very strong scaling or laning phase runes with this one. On the other side, if you have a very easy matchup, like Yone, Yasuo, Kayle, if you do face something like this, you may want to go for cashback, because getting to your legendary items faster and power farming the jungle and saving money on buying items just will propel you much further with Renekton. It will be very easy to snowball games if you're getting very fast to items, but also save some money buying them. Let's say the average item is 3000 gold and you buy 5 of them. You're at 15k, and then you would add some boots. That's plus 1100 for most boots, right? And you're at 16,100 gold. Now, if we take 6% of this value, so that's times 0.06, is 966 gold. This actually adds up. Getting 1000 gold is not a joke, actually. That's 3 kills you save with your complete item build. That's actually huge. And you will feel the effect with your 3rd and 4th item. And this could be very interesting. Now, Biscuit Delivery and Time Warp Tonic, those are dead. Never go for them on any champion. That is complete and utter garbage. I do not know why anybody would take this as of right now. It's just bad. Okay, lastly, we do have Cosmic Insight, so if anybody is searching for some utility and snowball in a game, this rune actually helps you with that. Okay, Summoner Spell Haste and Item Haste is actually very nice if you're going for an Ignite Flash setup and have a very easy laning phase. You flash a lot onto your opponent, you kill them again and again and again. You will save a lot of money on your items and you will be able to impact the game a lot. Another thing I tested is Jack of all trades. This rune is not worth it, okay? I tried it, I made the calculations. I literally don't know what champion would take the Jack of all trades. This could be something for supporters because they are stacking a lot of health regeneration, cooldown reduction, AP, HP, whatever. They have actually a lot of stats in their support because mana regeneration as well, right? So this could be some support rune, but this is nothing for top lane. I do not think that there's a lot of top laners actually utilizing this very well. Okay, now to the practice tool, into the items. We do have a returning item combo that has existed in the past states of the game, which is actually building Tiamat into Bloodthirster, okay? Because Bloodthirster got changed, it no longer gives crit. Healing you receive gets converted into a shield, okay? Let me show you. Actually, proccing Ravenous Hydra gives you the shield. And this shield is infinite, okay? So you only lose this shield if you get attacked. The shield never expires. Okay, let me show that again. Imagine there's some enemy standing, right? It just works like old Gore Drinker. You get a shield. Okay, let's do this under those turrets, just like that. You have lifesteal, right? And by activating Ravenous Hydra, you heal. Just like with Gore Drinker. You can mix this up with some Qs and become pretty deceptively tanky in my opinion. And getting a shield. Now, another interesting thing about this is this lets you proc shield bash, right? So I don't have a shield, and now I got one. You hear the sound, the number is bigger, which is actually pretty nice. Also, shield bash gives you 10 bonus armor and magic resistance whenever you have a shield, and it's pretty easy to keep up the shield with those two items, to be quite honest, because you also have a lot of lifesteal whenever you W, right? So let's say you do have, you see, if you were just standing and farmed some minions, you're healing 100. Just like that. Let's see this again. If I only W, gives you back some health, which is actually quite nice. And pairing that with the Absorb Life as well just keeps your health topped off in the mid to later stages of the game, just gives you the shield of Bloodthirster, and you could always proc shield bash with it, which is pretty nice if you're in combat, right? You're coming with a shield, you proc shield bash, the enemy Darius hits a Q, you're losing the shield, now you press Ravenous Hydra and Q, you overheal, you get a shield again, maybe you kill some minions as well, so you have again a shield, you again proc the shield bash for some extra damage, you again have some resistances for some extra tankiness. This could be quite a nice synergy, and it also works really well with Mercurial Scimitar. It also got reworked. It was a crit item before. It is not now, which is quite interesting because the thing is, you do have the QSS, which is nice against matchups like Cannon, for example. You could actually go for a Tiamat into Mercurial Rush because this alone gives you 30 magic resist, but the finished item gives you decent stats. And with Ravenous Hydra and Mercurial Scimitar that also gives you lifesteal, you do have a lot of lifesteal actually. This is quite nice, I must say. Also, all those items, they synergize pretty nice with Sundered Sky actually, because it just helps you to top off your health for that shield battle drop. Right? This just makes you very, very hard to kill because you're just standing there. You could add in some... And the thing is, as of right now, we do not have any health. This is our first health item, okay? So we can throw in some Death Stance into the mixture, and with the 50 magic resist from Mercurial Scimitar, you are very close to Maw of Malmortius. That even gives you 10 less magic resist. And, ladies and gentlemen, we do have ability haste on Death Stance. So Death Stance and Maw of Malmortius, they both got 15 ability haste, which is just great. It is amazing, okay? But the drawback of Mercurial Scimitar in comparison to Maw of Malmortius is that Maw gives you 70-80. That's a lot, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Mercurial Scimitar only gives you 40-80. That's not a lot. It has a good active though. This can sometimes replace the missing Yomu's Ghostblade. So you could activate this to get some movement speed if you would want to check on the number right here. Let me buy some boots. I think the cooldown reduction boosts are nice. And right here, above 500 movement speed, this can replace in a Yomu's Ghostblade in some scenarios. It's not quite as effective in one scenario, the movement speed aspect, but it is very effective in the tenacity and magic resistance area. Okay, so we do have some pretty solid stats right here. It's over 480. We do have 65 ability haste. That comes close to 39% ability cooldown. And overall the stats are pretty nice. Okay, so this is a viable build. It is not a bad build, but you do not have any armor shred. Okay, remember, there is no armor shred involved. That is basically Bruiser Renekton. Okay, Bruiser Renekton is not a tanky Renekton with steroids. This is Bruiser Renekton. The best item build, nonetheless, I say it again, the best item build is still going for Yomu's into Profane, into Maw, or something like, what do we have? Death Stance, right? We do have the option for cooldown boots. If anybody needs more cooldown, we could take it in the runes. And we can finish this off with a nice Jackshaw that makes us tanky. Yeah, I do not think overall Bloodmail is very good for bruisers in particular. It is a solid tank item maybe. It's a good item for Cyan. It is a good item for Cho'Gath maybe. It is not a good item for Renekton, Kled, Jace, Riven. Those champs, they do not profit very well from it. Stay away. We do not want to stack health. I said it again, okay? We do not want to stack health. We do want to stack resistances and damage. We stay away from health as much as we can. Okay, Sunfire's got its HP a little bit tuned down, as well as Hollow Radiance, but those items got ability haste as well. It is possible to buy Sunfires, okay? It is not good. I don't say it is great. It is possible. It gives you all stats Renekton could want. And you could, for example, replace Jackshaw. I don't know why you would do this. in a different build. I don't know why, but you can buy Sunfires or Hollow Radiance. I just don't know any scenario for it, to be quite honest. With those items, there's a lot of mechanics going on that actually work for our disadvantage in stacking health. Okay, let me read this a little quick. The effect's name is Baleful Blaze, okay, and we do have a second passive that is named Blackfire. This is important because passives with the same name, they do not stack, okay, but passives with different names, they actually do stack. That is important. Dealing damage with abilities causes enemies to burn 4 damage, okay, this damage increases to monsters, okay, so basically brand passive on an item. For each champion, epic monster and large monster affected by your Baleful Blaze gain 4% ability power. Okay, the more shit you hit, the more stronger you get. Thank you, Riot, for giving every champion a brand passive, but also thank you, Riot, for giving Brand a brand passive and more damage, and Zyra as well. I fucking hate it. I hate it, okay? Now, those burns have different names, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. Torment and Suffering. So this is percent max health magic damage. Percent max health magic damage. This is a crime, okay? This is illegal as I say it, okay? And they have the Suffering effect. For each second in combat, deal 2% bonus damage up to 6%. Ladies and gentlemen, we do know this increases true damage as well. We just read it in the wiki. And we do have Shadow Flame. Magic and true damage critically strikes below 35% health, dealing 20% increased damage, which is brutally awful, okay? Now, if I am below 35% health, that's a third of my health. This is 1000 health, so below 1000 health, I get critted. Now, what if I buy a tanky Renekton with 6000 health? Now, this threshold gets moved down, it gets moved to 2000 health. Now, having 2000 health actually starts getting crits. Okay, this is bad actually, because the threshold is higher now. You are still there with 2000 health, but you are now getting crit. Now read Renekton's passive. Below 50%, you're getting increased fury. The thing is, staying low health is incentivized in this passive. Also in the last stand rune, and you have a lot of damage that just prevents you from being low life or gets amplified when taking damage. So you do not want to stay low life, because just all those items, they just kill you for existing. Okay. And there is a different thing I wanted to show you. This is the last thing. Shout out again to Fate, and sorry for the video length. It is actually quite long. I see 39 minutes. Okay, we do have Yuntal Wild Arrows. Okay, this is a new crit item, and I tested it out if it works. Yes, it works. Renekton W can crit now, and it is hilarious, to be quite honest. 2500 damage with 1 W. It should only deal 1200, but it actually is able to crit, but we do not get the full value from Infinity Edge. It says 50% critical strike damage. This would mean that we are at 225% critical strike damage, because normal critical strikes, they strike for bonus 75 damage, 75%. It's a chance of 100%, but it's a bonus of 75% when critting. Okay. And we should get to 225 damage. 125 bonus. This is not the case. It is bugged, I don't know why. It is a little bit weird. 1900. 1900. Let me reset this. 1900. It is weird because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, but you see, a W plus auto attack just deals 3300 damage. This is basically a one shot. Basically a one shot with a single ability. I don't know why it can crit now, but it certainly does. And it is not actually bad. So you see, that was 3000 damage right here. Just this. 3000 damage. Yeah, I don't know. Look at the numbers. It's insane, right? It's absolutely insane. So crit Renekton is viable, but the problem is you're dealing less damage with Yuntal Wind Arrows. I tried it out. It is bad. It is quite bad. Look at this. It resets the damage to 2200 for 1W. And then the bleed gets applied. You see, 2600, and then it goes down to 2200. I don't know why. It first tries to apply Infinity Edge, then it removes the damage again, then it applies the bleeding effect, which is absolutely weird. You see, there was a number above 3000 just now. Hold up. Look at the total number right here. 2600, and it just jumped down to 2200. Doesn't make any sense. And then the bleed gets applied. It is possible to play with Yuntal Wind Arrows if you do not go for Infinity Edge, that is, right? So you would buy this item, but you would remove Infinity Edge from your item build and go something else. Now, I would always say go for Lord Dominic's or go for Mortal Reminder. Mortal Reminder is a solid option because a lot of champions in the top lane do have healing, and it also gives you 35% armor penetration, which is insane. It is 5% more than Black Cleaver, and you do not have to stack anything, so you have the damage from the beginning, which is actually pretty good with Coup de Grace or with Cut Down, not with Cut Down, with Coup de Grace and yeah, Cut Down. Yes, it sucks with Last Stand, but it is what it is. I tried Navori Flicker Blade. Let me show you. W doesn't reduce its own cooldown, just like that. It doesn't go on cooldown as an auto attack. It doesn't reduce its cooldown. The auto attack after it reduces it. Let's wait. Just like that, 8 seconds, it didn't get reduced. But obviously you could use it to reduce all your other abilities. You see, I still have pretty long cooldowns, right? For a Navori's user, this is pretty long, I would say. W also doesn't reduce Kaldemik and other stuff. I don't know why W can crit, but W is not two auto attacks. But W does proc every on-hit effect, but W does not reduce any other cooldowns with Navori's. Renekton W is a very strange ability, and just these are the interactions I wanted to show. It's weird. It is actually weird. I don't think Navori's Flicker Blade is worth it because a lot of attack speed, no AD. I don't think it's worth. I really don't think it's worth. Just Mortal Reminder, Shield Bow is nice, Infinity Edge is nice, or Yuntal if you go for certain builds. I mean, there's not many crit items left. Look at this. Those are all the crit items you can have. So this item does not have any Sheen effect anymore, by the way. Okay? It does not do any extra damage. It got removed. So this is not like Trinity Force anymore. Gangplank users, they will struggle because Essence Reaver. Same for Fiora. Fiora loved Essence Reaver as well, okay? but it lost its extra damage and it is actually useless in some way. Since Renekton doesn't have any mana, I would love the extra damage, okay, but I don't give a fuck about the mana passive only. Okay, so Ezreal was also a user for this one. Corgi could have been one because he just got changed this patch to be a more bursty ADC, back from a spellcaster a little bit more into ADC with more auto attack based playstyle that he had actually before he got reworked. So this is basically undoing the Corgi rework. Also, Rapid Fire lost all of its AD and Phantom Dancer lost the AD, but it got a lot of attack speed. It's a stat stick, okay? It's just a stat stick, just like Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster, it's not a unique, it's not a nice, it's not a cool, interesting item. It's just, do you need stats? Yes. Have some fun with stats, okay? It's not a very interesting item. It's a very efficient item. That's how to phrase it. And lastly, after showing the crit build, I will just complete it once more to show it. So if anybody wants to take a screenshot or anything, I think the better item build is actually with Infinity Edge. I mean, one of those two. They are both pretty nice. Think about this, okay? Critical hits apply a stacking bleed that deals 142 physical damage. Now, 142 is not a random number, okay? It's 30% of your AD. Can I show that? Yeah, it's 35% of your AD, of your total AD, by the way. It's not completely 35 because Riot doesn't know numbers. But the thing is, you're getting 35% extra damage here. You are getting 50% extra damage here. Okay? It's basically the same item. Just Infinity Edge is just more damage. It is more. This is less. Less AD, less extra damage. Yeah, whatever. So if you do want to fuck up some people, go for Infinity Edge. The only thing, right, why you want to buy Yuntal is because it's cheaper, okay? It's only 3,200 gold. This is 3,400 gold. So if you need your item and you want to have a better item build path, Yuntal actually gives you better item build path. Nun Quiver is nice, Pickaxe is nice, Renekton loves the Pickaxe. And this is actually, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very bad build path, okay? So 1,300 gold for BF Sword, it sucks. It really sucks. I'd rather have some long swords and stack 3 long swords for that than having to save out 1,300 for BF Sword. Seriously, right? BF Sword it's a dump item, okay? It's a dump item. Remove it, change it, make it cheaper. This just sucks for everybody, even for ADCs. Imagine you are an ADC, you're sitting there, okay? And I'm Renekton. I can start with a longsword on the lane. I can buy another one and then upgrade it to Serrated Dirk, okay? Meanwhile, ADCs are sitting there. They have to go for Doran's Blade, and then they just awkwardly stand in lane for 50 minutes and wait for their Infinity Edge because BF Sword is just 1,300 gold, and they just got back from a bad trade, right? They go back to the base. They think, oh boy, what am I gonna buy with my gold now, right? They open up and they say, a pickaxe, and then nothing, I guess, because this just sucks. This is nothing, right? It is a chance to deal damage, but this is no damage. This is no movement speed. This is no cooldown. This is literally nothing. It's a 15% chance to get damage for 100% chance to lose 600 gold, right? You are buying this item for 600 gold. You are definitely losing the 600 gold that you can save for BF sword. Okay, those are gone. I buy this item, my gold is gone. Okay, but I'm not getting anything. I'm getting the 15% chance for crit. It is insane. It is absolutely insanity if anybody thinks that this item helps. Okay, you are 100% losing gold for the chance of getting a stat. That is insane. So they awkwardly go back to their lane, the walk of shame, because they only had 1,100 gold, right? Like, and we are sitting there with our serrated dirk. This is not comparable. This is disgusting. It is so unfair. It is such a bad item combination. So this is why I can see an argument for going Yuntal Wild Arrows. It's cheaper, it has a better item path. This is very important for the early laning phase. And yeah, it gives less damage overall. But if you do want to deal some damage, go for Infinity Edge. Trust me on this one. And shield bow is necessary, I think. I do love the shield. This is this is just a shield. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Immortal Shield Bow is decent. In this build, Immortal Shield Bow is actually better than Sterex. Unless you want to have extra tenacity. And tenacity is rare these days, okay? It's very rare. You get it on Mercs, you get it on Sterex, and that's it. You have some wits end action going on, and maybe you can count Mercurial Scimitar as some sort of tenacity. You activate it, you reduce some stuff. Okay, now one other thing I wanted to highlight. The last thing, Bloodburster is pretty nice in conjunction with... where is it? With Eclipse, actually. Because, look at this, I have 380 with those two items. Because this is 70 AD, this is 80 AD. And now you're getting Ravenous Hydra with another 70 AD. This item build has so much raw damage. It is very, very insane. It is very insane damage. So this 3 item core is insanely strong. There's a lot of cooldown, there's decent cooldown reduction with 15 ability haste, 20 ability haste, right? A lot of lifesteal, a lot of survivability, shields, heals, damage, whatever, no? Everything you would want. Look at this. And you would always proc your shield bash with it as well. With Eclipse. It's very easy to top off your health. Keep it very very high. You could also still add Sundered Sky, and if you're really a sucker for healing and shielding and all that stuff, you throw in a Spirit Visage and maybe some plated steel caps or Merc threads, and what you can do with it is actually just wait for it. Okay, just like that. Just like that. So this is Bruiser Renekton, okay? There's not too many health stats involved. We do have Spirit Visage, we do have Sundered Sky. Look at this. This is insane. Whatever, this is the build. You could also get some Elixir of Wrath for some physical vamp as well, and you should be good. That's it. Thank you for watching, and sorry for the long video.